We're here in front of the new Blue Cross Blue Shield headquarters. It's not great architecture, but it's not absolutely repellent architecture either. The real crime of this building is its location and the fact that it contributes nothing to the street life of Buffalo. You can actually have a very beautiful object. You could have a 50-foot high sculpture by Brancusi that happens to have offices within it, but set on a plinth surrounded by walls, that in itself will not contribute to urban life. We have here a remnant facade of the Buffalo Illuminating Gas Company from 1859. It's by John Selkirk, our first native-born architect. But more importantly, what was demolished for this building was the gasworks itself from the 1830s and 1840s. And what was left was this kind of Walt Disney-esque facade, just in effect tacked onto this building, which absolutely bears no relationship to it at all. The building itself doesn't speak to Genesee Street, Joseph Ellicott's Genesee Street over here. It speaks to the traffic going by at 60 miles an hour on the elevated New York State Thruway. It has a what's meant to be a glitzy, glammy curving glass facade. But then you come city side here, and what do you see? You see these kind of chintzy, cheap concrete panels, and then a very plain facade over here, also pushed back from the street. And there, you can see here, we have a big office building, but there's actually no retail. Ergo, no retail environment, no ecosystem develops around these buildings. The building really doesn't contribute to the fiscal viability of the city, nor does it contribute to our street life. You see no street life whatsoever. While it's commendable that they do have bicycle parking over here, obviously the environment shouts out to a bicyclist, don't come down here, this is forbidding territory. So while they have a rack, everything else about the complex tells people, if you're a bicyclist, you're a loser, don't come down here. Come here in a car like every other human being does, park in our ramp, and go into this little shadowed entrance here, because this is in effect the main entry to the building over here for visitors. The main entry for employees is you go into this hideous concrete panel ramp, and there's actually a little sky bridge connecting the ramp to the building. So you don't even have to traverse ground level here. You don't have to touch the ground of downtown Buffalo if you're a Blue Cross and Blue Shield employee. And look at the environment that they've created, this hideous parking ramp, the ground level parking lot, and then the sweep to downtown Buffalo. You can see how far it is. In fact, you can see here we sweep by City Hall and we look at the Rand building with the radio mast on the top, and then the Liberty Bank building. That's Lafayette Square. That's the closest approach to, for example, get a bagel or get a donut or maybe get a trinket in your lunch hour. Look at the environment you have to traverse and the amount of time it'll take to get there. Consequently, you're not going to have any pedestrian activity. So the location of this building is just awful if you want to fulfill the goals of urban revitalization. This, in fact, is a suburban fortress that happens to be within what people would call downtown Buffalo. So it's in downtown Buffalo, but it is not of downtown Buffalo. This is not how to build a building. This is not how to build a city. Okay, this is the type of building you want to build in downtown Buffalo. This is the Ellicott Square Building, a great landmark from the mid-1890s designed by Daniel Burnham of Chicago. But it does a number of things very well. It's located on a key site in downtown Buffalo. It's right on Main Street, and in fact, as you'll see in just a second, it's right on our Metro rail line. So the trains literally pass right in front of the door. Also, it's near a number of bus lines And you can see as we approach lunch hour, the pedestrian activity and everything picking up here. It's not difficult for someone perhaps who has an office in this building or an office across the street to jump out and get a sandwich or perhaps buy a diamond ring. So you can do a number of things in Ellicott Square or an adjacent building, because each building creates better conditions for its neighbor. Okay, so you have a number of office buildings here. They support retail, they support food, they're supporting small business, they're supporting mass transit, they're supporting bicycle use, they're supporting pedestrian use. And really, pedestrian traffic is the lifeblood of urbanism. It's the lifeblood of democracy, and that's why it's so important to have buildings like this in your downtown if you really want to revitalize it. My name is Tim Tielman. I'm the Executive Director of the Campaign for Greater Buffalo. Thank you for watching. I invite you to get involved. You can get involved through our weblog, Greater Buffalo blog. You can join the Campaign for Greater Buffalo. You can contribute to the campaign to help us pursue our preservation work, and you also can get more information on Buffalo's thrills and chills, both the great architecture and the chilly, forbidding stuff. Our purpose really is to preserve the greatness of Buffalo and make sure that when we build new, we also build great. Thank you very much for joining us.